In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this image in my studio using one sunflower and a little bit of Photoshop. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Jay here. So when I go to a farmer's market these days, I'm always looking for great fruit and vegetables, but also interesting things to photograph. So I was at a farmer's market earlier this week and I found these great sunflowers. So I've already taken a ton of sunflower shots. I'll put some up now. Different angles, trying to get creative with the sunflowers, creative with lighting as well. A lot of fun, but I had one other idea that I tried out this morning, which kind of worked. I'm going to walk you through how I did it. Setup is relatively simple. Let me get the camera. I'll show you what the setup is. Okay, so here is the setup. I have a sunflower that I have attached with some wire to the C-stand, just hanging there. I took some petals off, actually some other flowers, and put them on the base here. Backdrop is just, a very cheap piece of black foam core. I have one light. This is a strip box I'm using with a grid because I don't want much light to spill onto the backdrop. And on this side, I've got another white foam core just as a reflector. Importantly, camera on a tripod. So that's the setup. Let me walk you through how I do it. So it's relatively straightforward. I'm going to take one of the petals. I'm holding it with a tweezer. And I'm going to take different shots holding the petal in different parts of the image. And I'll blend them together in Photoshop. I'll show you how we do that as well. So camera on a tripod with a timer. Let me take a couple shots just to show you how I do it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get a shot of just the sunflower and those petals on the table. I'm going to focus on the sunflower. And once I get that set, I'm going to lock in my focus. And I'm not going to change that. I want that focus to stay consistent. I'm going to take a shot. And yeah, that's a great shot. That's a good place to start. So now that I got that base shot, I'm going to take one of the petals. I've got my tweezer here, and I'm going to hold it in a different part of the image below the sunflower over several different shots. So let me click my shutter. This is on a self-timer. You'll hear some beeping, hopefully. I'm going to come around here and basically just hold this petal there, and you'll get this shot. Obviously, I'm not going to have my hand in the image, but I'll do that over and over. Couple of things. One is you want to hold the petal kind of roughly in line with the front of the sunflower because my focus was here. So I don't want to go too far back or too far forward. This will be out of focus. The other thing is I went behind the light because I don't want too much blockage of the light. My hand here could cause a shadow. That's why I was going from behind before. All right, so I took, I think, 10 or 12 shots. Hopefully that'll be enough. May not use them all. I may use them all. We'll see. What I'll do now is get these images in Lightroom. I'll bring them into Photoshop, and I'll show you the process I go through to create the image that I did. All right, getting onto my computer now. Got my memory card. I will stick it in the reader. We'll get these images on Photoshop and create some magic. Okay, so I've downloaded the images into Lightroom. 13 images in total. This is just my kind of base layer that I'll be starting with. And you can see as I scroll across, it's going to be me holding a petal in different angles. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of my hand and the tweezers in Photoshop, but that's kind of the setup. These are the images I'm working with. So what I want to do is bring this into Photoshop. I could do some editing on this, but I'm just going to kind of move right into Photoshop. I'm going to select them all. I'm hitting the Shift key and just selecting all of these images, going up to Photo, Edit in, and I want to open as layers in Photoshop. And that will bring all of these images into Photoshop, and then I can work from there. So I brought all these images into Photoshop. They're on different layers, and this is kind of my base layer. That's what I want to start with. It is at the top of my stack though, and I really want it on the bottom. So I'm going to just click and drag and pull it down all the way to the bottom. One more, sorry. There we go. So now what you're seeing is one of the top layers. So I need to hide all those layers with my hand holding the petal. I could click on all these dots, but all you have to do is click on one and just pull it up, and they will all be hidden. So now what I'm seeing is my base layer. All of the other layers are hidden, and I'm going to work on them at one at a time. So let me click on the first layer. I'm going to make it visible by checking off here. I'm going to click on the layer. Don't forget to do that. And I want to basically get rid of my hand and the tweezer. So let's use the remove tool. It's usually the easiest way. You may have to take a couple stabs at this. But let's start with this. And my hand is gone. Isn't that cool? I'm going to zoom in and get rid of this. I'm going to make this circle a bit smaller by hitting the left bracket key. But I'm going to just go here and let's see how Photoshop does. Pretty good. Sometimes there's other remnants you have to get rid of. But just to give you a sense, I've got a floating petal now. Basically, I'm going to do that over and over. And so I'm going to click on the next layer up, make it visible. Use my remove tool. I won't go through all of this. By the way, you can just circle what you want and Photoshop will fill in the rest, which is pretty cool. And let me zoom in a little bit and we'll get rid of the tweezer. And we'll clean some of this stuff up too. You really don't want anything other than just the petal. And so let me zoom out a little bit. There's one, there's two. And I'm going to go through all of these layers and do that same exact thing, basically. Okay, so I'm back to my base layer. I went through all of the other layers, got rid of my hand and the tweezer. So there's basically, 11 different layers of just a floating pebble. And I'm going to bring those into this image. So let's just start with the first one. I'm going to make this one visible. And so you got this floating layer. All I really want from this layer is the actual petal. So what I want to do is put a mask on there. Go down here, hit mask. I am going to invert the mask. I'm hitting Command I to do that. So it makes it invisible. And I just want to paint in, essentially, or make visible the petal. And so I'm going to go to my brush, make sure my foreground color is white, and essentially just paint it in. Simple as that. And then if I go up to the next layer, make that visible, now this next petal will show up. But again, I want to just have that showing. And so I'm going to put a mask on it, invert it by hitting Command I, get my brush, my foreground color is white, and just paint it in. And I basically do that one after another. The tricky part is kind of getting rid of your hand and the tweezers, but it's really not too bad. So again, I'll put a mask on it, Command I to invert, get my brush, and just paint it in. Now, sometimes you get some overlap with the petals, and you probably have to get a smaller brush and do that just to make sure they're clean selections. But at the end of the day, you're going to get something like this. So really kind of a fun project. You could do this with anything, by the way. I've done this with, and I'll put them up, floating chocolates. I've done it with lemons and limes, with a splash with a glass. But it's the same process, basically, to do it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the video, just give me a like, a little thumbs up. And if you like this kind of content, and again, a lot of studio stuff, I'm out in the field, architecture, Photoshop tutorials, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. And until next time.